Today we're working on Google Ads, and I need to get some brand search ads set up. This is something that I recommend every business do. You can start with as little as $5 a day. And the really cool part about brand search ads, if you have a very small brand, you're probably not going to spend anything because nobody is searching for your brand name yet. But what happens is as you start building your marketing, those brand search ads start acting kind of like a what would you call it? Like a safety net that kind of catches the traffic as you're going. So as you start building and there starts to become some word of mouth and people are searching for you, the brand search ads are there to kind of catch that traffic for you and help direct them into the right places. Also, brand search ads have always been the most profitable ads that I've ever run because it's somebody that's looking for my product, looking for me by name. So normally we'll see our cost per acquisition would be, anywhere from $30 to $90, depending on the price point. But when we use brand search ads, we'll see our cost per acquisition be $4, $5, $9. I mean, it's usually under $10 to acquire a customer. It helps with any of your word of mouth marketing. It helps with any of your social media marketing. As people start hearing about you online and via word of mouth, they will start searching your brand and then they'll bump into your Google ads, and then the Google ads will send them to the right page that they need to go to. This is like the first campaign I set up for any clients, any consulting, friends and family that need help. The first thing that I usually set up is a brand search campaign. So with that said, let's get started. All right, so this is a brand new Google ad account that I set up just for the new Adskills. All I've done at this point is I went to Google, I Googled Google Ads, I clicked sign up, and I went through their sign up process. But their sign up process will take you through like all these steps. I just skip, I just click the button says skip or create account without a campaign. I don't want them. So what they'll normally do is they'll kind of take you through this like this wizard and this training wheels version of creating a campaign. I don't like to do that. I don't want to go through their normal process. So I just sign up and then I try to look for the little button that says like skip. I just want to create the account. I don't want to start a campaign. And then what happens is now you get to this page when you do that. So now I can create a campaign, but without the weird stuff that they do. They try to make it easy for newbies creating an account, but they end up creating them in a weird way that I don't like. So that being said, I have created the account without creating a campaign, and now it's very simple. I've just hit new campaign. But first, before I do that, a quick tour of the interface here. So you have got your campaigns here on the left, and then normally there's a lot of stuff in here, and I barely use any of it. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff, and it looks daunting and intimidating, but I'm telling you, there's really like 5 or 6 buttons that I actually use in here. And so normally what I'll do is I'll come in here, I'll click campaigns, and then I'll click here, and that opens that, and then I can click into campaigns, and I can see my campaigns. But I don't have any campaigns yet. And then you can see there's insights and reports if you want to, as you start doing things. Recommendations, they're going to give you all kinds of little red flags and dings and notifications and like do this, do that. They try to make them look scary because essentially what Google is doing is they are optimizing their profits the way we would optimize profits for our website. And so what they're going to do is they're going to give you all these little bells and whistles and notifications to try and tell you to spend more money. And so I ignore most of them. They look like they're really important. Most of the time, they're not. If it says your account will be shut down, your account will be suspended, those are important. Follow those. If it doesn't say that, it's really just Google trying to optimize for their own performance. If you want to follow them, you can. I don't think that they're wrong. Like some people say, every recommendation Google makes is wrong. I just think some of them are not necessary. And so, anyways, I'm showing you how I build my campaigns. All right, next thing is you'll want to come over here to goals. Goals is where you would set up your conversion tracking. And so when I set my account up, it asks you like, what is your goal? And there's like purchase, leads, calls, page views, reach. And for me, most of what I do is lead gen. Adskills is free to get started, even in happily unemployed. It's free to get started, and then there's paid levels. And so most of what I do in my marketing, especially with paid ads, some form of lead gen. So for me, my goal was lead gen. Your goal may be purchases. Your goal may be phone calls. You need to decide what your goal is. And then if you want to add more, you can always hit create conversion action here, and then it'll ask you which one. So start tracking conversions. So we can go here to website, and there's sales, page views. If you have an app, if you need to do phone calls, if you need to import them from offline data sources, you can do that as well. Now, one of the things that I recommend, this is usually the most complicated part of any Google ads, Facebook ads, like conversion tracking is, in my opinion, it's become a nightmare. It has become really, really hard. It started out really simple. They would just give you a little piece of code. You put that code on the page right after your sale or your lead, and you're done. Now there's all kinds of complicated things with APIs and all that stuff. So what I normally do, I just go to Fiverr, right? Fiverr, type in Google Ads conversion, and then right here at the top, you got a Fiverr's choice. This guy's got 214 five-star reviews. It's only $20. He'll set up all your Google Analytics, your e-commerce tracking, your ads conversion tracking, your lead form tracking, like everything that you need. This guy can do it for $20. So if you prefer to spend 2 weeks beating your head against the wall trying to learn all this stuff yourself, by all means, go ahead. We have videos around in Happily Unemployed, in Adskills, on our YouTube channel. We've got lots of areas for you, and I'm building this for you right now as well. It is kind of a nightmare to learn for yourself. So there are a lot of things that I would tell you to learn. You should learn copywriting. You should learn landing page design. You should learn how to write Google Ads. You should learn how to make your Google Ads. But things like setting up your tracking codes and stuff like that, when you could solve this problem for $20 to $50, just make that problem go away with a little bit of money. And if you just don't have any at all, I get it. I understand. I've been there and I've had to learn these things. But at this point, I would much rather just spend $20 and this problem goes away. So, as always, when I'm hiring on Fiverr, normally what I'll do is I'll come in here, freelancer details, top rated, level one, level two, and then I want to make sure that they speak English. Is that in here? Yes, English. And if you wanted to choose a state, our country, you're welcome to do that. I don't. I don't care where they live, as long as they can speak the same language that I speak so we can communicate. And then they're a top level seller. That's all I care about. So with those filters set up, we see that there's plenty of great people here, as low as $10, as high as $200. I would probably just go with this guy because he's a Fiverr's choice, five-star reviews, 214. I'd probably just go with him. So that is, I'm not going to do that today because I've got a guy on my team who knows how to do this, and he's going to set that up for me. And if I didn't have him, I would just be paying $20 in Fiverr to get him set it up for me. Okay. So I just want you to know that this is where you go to set up those goals and conversions. You may have to give him access to your account so he can come in here and do that. All right. So you're going to do your campaigns under campaigns, your goals here, and then tools. They've got various tools in here. You can discover new keywords, you can get search volume. There's a lot of little tools and things that you can use inside of here. Not really an area I come into very often. And then you've got billing, which is where you would set up your payment methods and stuff. And then admin your account. So normally the only two places that I come to when I'm in here, I'm either in campaigns or I'm in goals. And usually goals is a one and done. For me, I've set up lead form tracking. and that's it. I don't really need much else, but I may one day need to track sales on like one of my upsell pages or something, or maybe we're doing a workshop and I want to track sales to that. I'll probably need to come in here and set up a new conversion goal and we'll set that up. But that's like I said, that's a one-time setup, and then once it's set up, you never need to come in here. So 9 times out of 10 when I'm coming in here, probably 99 out of 100 times that I come in here, all I'm doing is I'm just going into this campaigns tab. All right. So campaigns tab is where I run everything. So let's go ahead and start our campaign. All right. You're going to choose your objective. My objective is leads. And I already have my lead form thing set up, and it's giving me a warning because the code has not been installed on the page yet, but they're working on that. So we'll go ahead and hit continue. I am setting up a search campaign. This is something where I should probably stop and explain. So these are the different types of campaigns you can run in Google. Performance Max is it's essentially all of the other types, but you set up one campaign and it does all your search and your video and your display and your shopping, and you just upload a bunch of headlines and descriptions and images and videos. Like you just throw a lot of creative assets into your campaign, and then Google just goes wild testing it in all these different areas. Probably stay away from that until you're more sure of what you're doing. Really, the two that I would recommend the most, maybe three, we've got search and display. Search is what we're going to do today because we're just doing a brand search campaign. Display is where I normally would run retargeting. So what that means is anybody who visits my website is going to see banner ads following them all around the web. Now, normally people think of retargeting, they just think of Facebook ads, but retargeting is all over the web. I don't want to just retarget only on Facebook, which is good. That's great. I want to retarget them when they go to the Wall Street Journal, or when they go to their favorite forum or USA Today, or they're checking gold prices or whatever it is they're doing out on the web. Display is how I would set up that retargeting campaign, but you do have to have your Google Analytics account set up first. And then finally, video, that's where you would go to create YouTube ads. And so we will do another build with me where I will specifically set up these other campaigns for you. Today, we're just doing brand search, so we're going to start there. Unless you really know what you're doing, I would stay away from Performance Max, Demand Gen, and Shopping. If you have a specific purpose for those and you know how to use those, well, then by all means, go ahead and do that. But most of the time, I recommend all of my customers stay in search, display, or video. Today, we're going to search. So we're going to start there. Select the ways you'd like to reach your goal. I want to reach my goal with website visitors, I think. Yeah, so I don't want, so the lead form submissions is where Google would create a form and then they enter their email. I don't want that. I want them to go to my page and I want them to sign up on my page. Okay. So the page we want them to go to, Adskills.com. Go ahead and hit continue. And campaign name, I always name my campaigns the product name. So the product, our free product at Adskills is called Academy. I'll go ahead and hit continue. What do you want to focus on? Conversions. I normally will start my campaigns out on clicks until I have enough conversions. So normally what I'll do is I'll keep it on clicks until I have 100 conversions, and then I'll change my campaign settings to now focus on conversions. But until you have 100 conversions, there's really not enough data in the account or the campaign to try and optimize for conversion. So I start with clicks, and then I'll set a maximum cost per click. Normally, I will start at $1. That's just been my default for many years. If I have more budget, or like this is a big campaign and I know I just want to go crazy with it, I'll set my maximum CPC bid limit to $5. And so I set it to $1, and then I kind of see where I'm at, later on. So I set it to $1. All right, customer acquisition, bid for new customers only. No, I don't want to do that. This is a trap. All right, we call these profit traps, and they will kill your campaign. So if these defaults are on, you will get a lot of dirty traffic. I turn these on when I'm trying to expand, when I'm doing great. I've gone from my $5 a day to $10 a day to 20 to 50, 100, 500, and when I'm trying to, go nuts, spend thousands of dollars a day, that's when I'll add on search network and display. But for right now, all we want is Google search ads. And like I said, remember I told you they'll have all these little things that kind of yell at you and say, "Oh, you shouldn't you have this?" And they have great language that makes it seem like it's really important for you to have on there, but it's not. I get rid of those. And then also, you don't want all countries and territories. I mean, unless you do. But for me, I'm going to start out United States, and then you have your languages here. Now, so one the reason why so Adskills or even happily unemployed, both of those, I don't mind if they're in Nigeria or Amsterdam or United Kingdom, wherever. However, I find that in Google, if your campaign is targeting more than one country, it doesn't seem to optimize as well. So I will normally, if I want to reach other countries, I'll just duplicate my campaign and then I'll be like, all right, this one's United States, this one's UK, this one's Australia, this one's Germany, this one, and so I'll just keep duplicating. And that's one way that you can grow. It's you don't need to change any of your ads, any of your targeting settings. You just duplicate and go back to your settings and change the country that you're targeting. But I normally start mine because I'm in the United States. I start them in the United States, and then it's already set to English. All right. Whenever they have these little down arrows, and I'll take questions here in a minute. I'll check to see if there's any questions. Whenever there's these little down arrows, I like to click them because that's where they hide stuff. All right. I don't want them hiding little check boxes and things like that. I want to see everything that I'm setting up. Audience segments, I don't need this. Let me see. Target settings for this campaign. Narrow the reach of your campaign to the selected segments with the option to adjust bids or observation. Don't narrow the reach of your campaign with the option to adjust the bids. Okay. So what this means is like I could hit new segment and I could add, other people into here and I, could complicate my campaign, or I could go to browse and I can choose, various interests and things like that. I don't want to do that. We're not building that kind of a campaign. We're simply just building a brand search campaign. So I'm going to ignore all that, leave the recommended setting on there. I can close that back up. Broad match keywords. To use broad match keywords, switch to a conversion or conversion value based bidding strategy. It's not something I want to use anyways. I don't recommend broad match ever. We're always going to use phrase match or exact match, which I'll explain here in coming up. Again, here's one of those things. We want to open it up. We want to see every setting. I don't want them hiding anything on me. So add rotation, optimize, prefer the best performing ads. Um, Close that down. Start and end dates. I don't need an end date. That would be if I was doing like a workshop and I need the ads to stop the day before the workshop or something like that. But I want my ads to continuously run. Ad schedule. I want my ads to run all day. Sometimes you can turn your ads off from like 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. and you can save a little bit of money. Maybe you don't want customers at that time. I don't care. But I'm going to let mine run all day. Campaign URL, I don't need to change any URL settings. And then brands, this is where you could put blacklists into your campaign. If you wanted to exclude brands or you wanted to include certain brands, websites, you could do that here. I don't need to do that with my campaign. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit next. Okay, so essentially what they're going to do, they're going to go to my website, they're going to read it, and they're going to come up with stuff. And so, yeah, it's already grabbed some stuff from my website. Um, I don't really need that. I'm going to skip. If you really want to use that, go ahead. I don't love all bells and whistles they start adding to things. Um, this is new. This is the first time I'm seeing this little AI chat right here as you're creating your account, your campaigns. That's pretty cool. I can help you create headlines and descriptions at any time. You can ask me more about your business. That's very cool. All right. Add skills, and then I don't want these keywords. And so what it's done is, their AI who went and looked at my website and then came up with keywords for me. I don't want to use those. We're making a brand search campaign. We're not trying to target new visitors and all that. All we're trying to do is brand search. And so what is my brand? We've got Justin Brook, we've got Adskills, and then we will have things like Adskills certification. Okay, so those are my brand keywords. My name, my business name, a few keywords related to my products. Eventually I could probably also put like ad skills, um, alliance, um, skills, agency. These are just like membership levels. And then I could do the same thing for happily unemployed. So we have knowledge networks, uh, but one website at a time. So I'm not going to put the uh, happily unemployed stuff in here. We're just building a campaign for my other business ad skills right now. Now, if you were to leave them like this, that's called broad match. There's nothing at the end of them. Um, Broad match means the ad could trigger. I'm just going to cut these for right now, just so we can look at one keyword. With broad match, it could tar my ad could trigger for the word Justin, the word Brooke, the word Justin Brooke. I don't want that. I want it to specifically target Justin Brooke when people type that in. So we'll go Justin Brooke. And then when you put quotation marks around it, that's called phrase match. I don't like people always ask me, well, what about exact match? That's when you put brackets around it. That means the only thing they've searched is that word. So the difference between exact match and phrase match, exact match means this is all they've searched. It's only trigger the ad when they search just the word ad skills. Phrase match means they could search, what is ad skills? They could search ad skills versus digital marketer. They could search, it's what that word is in the phrase that they're searching. And so exact match is technically better. It's what I used to like. I just find that Google doesn't respect it. They just they just kind of add things in anyways. So if it doesn't really work, I'm just not going to use it. And so I use phrase match, and that's what works. So that means, so if I have phrase match ad skills certified, if somebody searches how to get ad skills certified, then my ad is going to show up because the phrase is within the whole phrase that they're searching. So phrase match. And this is how, so one time for a dentist, I literally just targeted the word dentist in phrase match. And that way it doesn't matter if they're searching cosmetic dentist, dentist near me, um, children's dentist, whatever. It's like because that word is in the phrase, so I can target a lot of keywords with one keyword, just because I'm using phrase match. Okay. All right. Let's see here. We're just going to go with those because we're just making a brand search. Of course, like I said, they're going to yell at me, add more keywords. This isn't enough keywords. It's fine. This is all I want to create. All right, now we're going to start getting into the actual ads. And so their AI has come in and given me a bunch of stuff. Get rid of those. And it's already written descriptions. All right, I don't need that. I don't need display path because I'm not taking them to any specific, part of my website. I'm literally just taking them to my homepage because for me specifically, my homepage is optimized. I've done the split testing. It works great. So that's where I'm going to go. Normally, I would say do not use your homepage as a landing page. Use a dedicated landing page. And so, for example, okay, so this is an example of a landing page versus a home page. Let me just open up. That's my brother. Um, okay, so big difference between a home page and a landing page. Home page, I've got different links on the navigation on here. And I've got these different links. I've got my social links and stuff like that. I've been doing things 20 years. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to make sure I know that this page is optimized. I know how to do my own split testing and stuff like that. So I'm going to use this page, but I would recommend for most people to use a landing page. Difference between that is there's no navigation. There's just what there is to do on here. And so this is, a long article that has 27 tips. And then down towards the bottom, it turns into the sales page where they can buy. And so there's really nothing on here. We have our privacy policies and things like that down here at the bottom. Um, but this is a dedicated landing page, and that's what you should drive your traffic to if you want the best results. All right. So I'm not going to add a lead form on here. So we're going to start putting some headlines. And so what I'll do is I just look at the landing page that I'm sending them to. So this is probably going to be one of my descriptions. So let's just go ahead and grab that. And we'll put that down here as one of the descriptions. And then I'll make that one of the headlines, and then I'll pin that. All right. So they have this little pin next to each of these headlines, and you can pin that to a certain place, and so I want it to show up number one. So that means that headline is always going to show up at the beginning of my ad. And then I could say something like, yeah, yeah, that was not bad. Master digital advertising, master online ads, um, master paid traffic. And so I'm going to pin these to position 2. And so because I have multiple of them pinned to position 2, as I start looking at the variations, you can see that it's changing out that last part on there. Okay. All right. Then we want to have a last one on here. Let's see what else we've got on here. There we go. I'll probably do this. All right, so we'll put that one in position number 3. And they like you to have at least 5 headlines when you're creating these. And I'll pin that one to position 3. And so now as we start creating, these are all mobile optimized. When I go to the bigger desktop ones, we'll start getting a position 3 in some of them. All right. I don't think I need any more headlines. Let me look and see if there's any other copy. Yeah, we'll probably want to do something like that. And I want to position this number 2 as well. See here, that just showed up. Create profitable ads. Okay. All right, that's probably enough headlines. You can add as many as you want. You can have the little AI write even more of them. Um, Let me find some other descriptions on here. Yeah, that one's kind of cool. That sentence right there. Let's add that as one of my descriptions. Also for descriptions, I don't want to have it in this headline case. I want it to be all lowercase. And then you have to have that spelled right. Otherwise, they'll yell at you. Okay, all right, so we've got 2 descriptions in there. You need at least 2, and you can tell how many you need. So it says required, so I guess you only need 3. I like to make 5. This adds strength. And again, this is another one of those things where they're constantly trying to tell you you need more, include popular keywords. Otherwise, your ad is horrible. Um, you don't have to follow this, ignore that thing up there. All right, we've got two descriptions. Let's see how this is looking. I don't need to highlight the ads. Let's just kind of flip through and see how it's using my two different ones, and I can pin them. Um, I probably want to pin this to position one and pin this to position one, and then I'll go find another one for position two. Yeah, here we go. Let's see that one. To create ads like a pro. And then I'll add another one just like this one, and I'll say to create uh, profitable ad campaigns. Yes. We will teach you all the basics and best practices to create profitable ad campaigns. Okay, so we're going to pin these to position two, and then we'll kind of flip through and see how they look. Official site, master paid traffic. This includes over 20 video trainings on modern digital advertising. We will teach you all the basics. Okay, so it's doing all the split testing for me. And all right, so we've got our headlines, we've got our descriptions. So technically I could be done, but there's other things I can add to it to make it better. So there's site links and there's call outs. Call outs are just little words you can add to it. So for example, I can do something like join for free. And I can add another call out. See how I've added that join for free right here? And I could do works on mobile. Okay. So essentially it just gives me more words that I can add into there. I'm just going to hit save on that. And so you could add things like free shipping, call anytime, hours Monday through Friday, stuff like that. We're going to go ahead and apply those to my campaign. And what that does is it gives me more space. More space is good. Then you have site links. And so this is for additional links on your site. So I'm going to add another site link on here, and we're going to call this one blog. And then we'll add another site link on here. So we have a swag shop. Okay. And so you see, it's making my ad even bigger. Let me get rid of this highlight thing, And so the bigger my ad is, the more real estate I'm taking up on the page, pushing down all the everything else that they could click on that I don't want them to click on. So I want to add more of this stuff, and it adds more clickable things, And so sometimes I'll create a testimonials page, and the page is just like all our reviews. I might have a contact page. I might have a free demo page or a free tour page. And so you can add all those different pages in there because maybe they don't want to go to just the regular page. Maybe they want to read the blog or see the store or, see the testimonials or take a free tour or things like that, So you can add more site links on there as you want. And then you have to put the URL to these things. That was, so we'll grab the link here. And then we'll grab that. Okay. Okay. So now we see our ad is looking much better. And then they'll split test these different call outs to see which call out works best. So you see this one, it's only got works on mobile. But if we click next, this one's got tablet and self-paced. I'll probably get the tablet one out of there. That one doesn't make sense. Works on mobile, self-paced learning. All right. Join for free, self-paced learning. And as we keep rotating, it shows me all the different ads that we could be running. Okay. All right. We've made our ads at this point. If you wanted to, you could add more stuff on there. You don't need to, though. So we're just going to go ahead and hit next. All right, average daily budget. This is just like I said, they're just trying to optimize. What is it? Where do they get $23.82? $28.59. It makes no sense. We're just gonna go set custom budget, and I'm gonna set mine to $10 a day. But $5 a day is all you really need. I know my budget. I know how well this works, and so I'm just gonna set that to $10 a day, and then we'll hit next. And it should basically let us review our campaign at this point. So we got our campaign name. We're doing search. Our objective is leads. We were getting our leads not Google hosted. That's when they would create their own little form. I don't want that. I want leads from my website, which means they're going to be hit with that code that we're going to put on the page after they sign up. Bidding for maximized clicks, customer acquisition, bid equally for new and existing customers. Google Networks, we're just doing Google search, United States, English, no segments. Broad matches off. We have 4 keywords, 1 ad, $10 a day, publish campaign. Your ads will go live after review. Sometimes you can get lucky and this takes like 2, 3 hours. Sometimes longest I've ever seen it take is 48 hours. So usually by the morning, everything is approved. If it's not logged in by morning, I might wait till the next day. And if it's still not approved, then that's when I'm going to try and like do the live chat or email support or something like that to try and see what's wrong. But almost always it's a couple hours to maybe 24 hours. Hit next, and then this is the code that I need to install. I'm just sending that to my web guy, and then he's going to place that in the right place on my website. And then I can hit test connection. It's not there. So then I'll do this later. I'll do this later. Um, get out of here. Okay, so now when I come into my Google Ads account and I hit campaigns, I now have a campaign. And then I have an ad group and it just defaulted to calling it ad group 1. I'm just going to call this brand search because that's all I have in there is my brand search keywords. Hit save. All right. Couple of things. These don't sound important in the beginning, but as you start having more campaigns, you start losing your way, everything gets disorganized. I'm a big believer in account structure. And so my campaigns are always the product that I'm trying to sell, one campaign per product. And then my ad groups, it's really just for my own naming conventions, what type of keywords are in there. So for example, one of my growth operator clients that I'm helping, he does leadership coaching. And so the keywords are all about leadership coaching. And so that's the name of my ad group. And then you have your ads. All right. So I would normally log in. And usually when you log in, I think it defaults to this view. No, 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 no. It'll default to this view, this overview thing, which I don't love. And so I just log in and I just immediately click campaigns. And then I go to campaigns. And then here I am. I'm at my workspace where I can do work. I'll click into the campaign and then into the ad group. And now I can work on my keywords. I can see how many impressions and clicks and all that stuff that I'm getting. And then if I want to see the ads that are running, I can see that as well in here. But everything is just under pending review at this time. All right. One other thing, where was that I found this? There's a search terms report, and you need to know that. I'll have to make another video to show you that. Ad groups. So essentially, when I click on ad group, right, and it shows me these keywords, it doesn't mean those are the actual keywords people are typing in because they might be typing in who is Justin Brooke. They might be typing in Justin Brooke interview, Justin Brook courses. They could be typing in what is Adskills. There's that. So those are the specific keywords that they're actually typing in, and these are the keywords that we're bidding on. So it's different. And so I'll make another video. I just got to remember where they put that search terms report, and that's where it shows you the actual keywords that they're searching for. And then what you can do is some of those you're not going to like they might be searching Justin Brooks scam or something. I don't know, or Justin Brooks bad hair because he didn't bring a hat today or something. Um, I'm just going to take those keywords that I don't want my ads to show up for, and I'll click over here to negative keywords, and then I can add them into here. And so I can add in to the campaign level academy, and I can say like Justin Brook bad hair, and now if anybody ever searches Justin Brook bad hair, my ad's not going to show up. And that's how you add negative keywords, and that's how you can further optimize your campaigns to increase the profits, because essentially every week I'm going to log in, I'm going to go look at the search terms report, I'm going to see, okay, these keywords are not giving me any value out of that, let's add those to the negative, add those to the negative. Eventually you get rid of all the negative keywords, and now you only have the positive keywords, and it's just money coming in at that point. All right. What questions do we got before we finish up here? I did all that in an hour. That's come on, man. I'm happy with myself on that. Mimi says this has been very helpful. I do have to leave a little early. Great to see you, Mimi. Is it fine to start with just $1 or $2 a day? It's really not going to work at $1 or $2 a day. You used to, in 2007, you could get away with that. You really need about $5 a day is the minimum that you can put in there. Steven says, Lucas, so it's here. Finally get to connect with you. Close my first client. Just to make sure I got this right, this is only used when people are already searching our brand's name. That campaign that I set up today is just a brand search campaign. We will make another one another day with like questions people are typing in. So, for example, some people might be looking for marketing certification. And so I would want to create a landing page about how Adskills offers a marketing certification. And then I can bring those people in. So I would target the keyword. So that's a different thing. That's targeting cold traffic. This campaign we're doing today was just brand search. It's the first campaign I set up pretty much anywhere, anytime for any business. Site links. Many people are saying we should be adding them to more real estate on the page. Do you often add them? Yes, I probably already add that in there. I try to always add at least one or two site links. You only need one to kind of bump down and get that bigger real estate. I find the more of those that you add, the better your ads will perform. So I do try to always add site links. Lauren says, I was curious how you figured put the keywords. Lucas says, you got to take off. Good to see you. Nice job, Justin. This was great one. Very helpful. Awesome, guys. All right. Well, I did it all in under an hour, so I'm out of here right at 2 o'clock, guys. Thanks for being on here. I'll see you later. Bye.